What's up, everyone? Tyler DeLuca here, back with my 3 takeaways from this past week in women's college basketball. Let's dive right in. First up, we got to talk about Utah's Alyssa Peely because, man, the reigning Pac-12 Player of the Year. So it's not like she's unknown, right? But I've been on the train and it feels like she hasn't been getting the love she deserves. And I hope that this huge performance against number 1 South Carolina in a loss, but a huge performance nonetheless, starts getting her the love that she deserves. 37 points, career high on 15 of 23 shooting. Shot 50% from 3, which is something that she's doing across this entire season. She's shooting over 50%. I think it's 55%. She can do it however you want to do it on the offensive side of the ball. You want her to go operate on the perimeter, shoot the 3, go off the dribble and into the paint? She can do that. You want her to go in the paint, post up, get position? She can do that. She's such a unique player. She's listed at 6'2", but we know that she's 5'10". That's what she said on the committee post game show when we got to interview her. She's 5'10". This is one of the most unique players I've personally seen, in the sense that she can do anything on the offensive end and can seamlessly flip the switch from perimeter to post. And we saw that across this entire game against South Carolina. And when she had Camila Cardoso on her, who's 6'7", I believe, on the perimeter, she was cooking. Whether it was taking her off the dribble, pump fake and going, whether it was shooting the 3, she was cooking. And then immediately when Cardoso gets out of the game and they put a player that might be a little bit faster and able to guard the perimeter, she immediately goes to the post and starts operating down there. And it's seamless. It's seamless. And realistically, Utah's only offense really throughout this entire game was Peely. Obviously, they were down 2 starters. They're going to be down Gianna Neekins for the rest of the season, which is a huge loss to this Utah team. But I mean, they went on a 6-minute drought in the second quarter when Alyssa Peely sat on the bench due to foul trouble. 6-minute drought because one player went out. And on the broadcast, it was 3 or 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and they were like, oh, this is the first person not named Alyssa Peely to score in this amount of time, or for this entire quarter. She was everything for Utah. In South Carolina, the number 1 team in the nation, a team that prides themselves on defense historically over the course of Dawn Staley's time in the program, couldn't figure her out. Dawn Staley even said on the sidelines, we can't stop her. Alyssa Peely is a first-round pick in this upcoming WNBA draft. Her role, I don't know exactly what it is, because she can do everything on the offensive end. So I don't know exactly what role she's going to find herself in, but she's going to find herself in a spot because she can mold herself into literally anything. I don't think that there's a box you can put her in on the offensive side of the ball where she can't get out of that box. And I've been so incredibly impressed with her. Like I said, she's a reigning Pac-12 Player of the Year. So this isn't some unknown player that's just coming on the scene. No. You just might not have known. And I think that's what happened. That's been the case with some people not knowing about Alyssa Peely prior. But if you didn't know, now you know. And keep your eyes on her the rest of the season, because this performance, I don't think this will be the last big one that we see from Utah's Alyssa Peely. Let's stick in the Pac-12, but let's not talk about a player. Let's talk about a team. Number 2, UCLA. They are stacked. They just had a big win over Florida State just yesterday. They are so good. They are so complete. It all starts, though, with Lauren Betts down low. She had 22 points, 18 rebounds, 4 blocks against Florida State, 17-point victory. I mean, she is incredible. Obviously, she has the size. She has all the size that she needs, but she's so skilled. Whether it's the patience, whether it's the footwork, whether it's just operating how to get the ball in her hands where she wants it and she's making it known, because her communication is so incredibly well. That's something I picked up on during AmeriCup play in the summer for some of the college players. Her communication with her guards is incredible, whether it be on the screens, whether it be posting up where she wants the ball. Lauren Betts is the complete package. Easily looking like, the top transfer so far in this year. I think Anissa Morrow would have somewhat of a case, but I think it's got to be Lauren Betts at this moment right now. And because that's UCLA's thing, is that they never like over the past couple of years, they haven't really had that go-to big, that size that can really just dominate. And now they do. No questions, they do. And they have everything. They have obviously the big with Lauren Betts, but they have incredible guard play too in Kiki Rice and Charisma Osborne. Charisma, who's been a proven three-point shooter. Kiki Rice, who is an increasingly improving shooter. I mean, there's not a real pinpoint weakness in this team. They're so incredibly well-rounded and complete. I think they absolutely have a case to be the number one team in the nation right now. I think I'd still put South Carolina over them for the moment, but if they go through Pac-12 play and only take, I mean, there's no reason this team, let's say it like this, there's no reason this team should not be in the Final Four. They look like an absolute, like, anything below a Final Four is a disappointment with this roster. And Corey Close is a very, very, very good coach that has done a lot with a little at times. But now they gave her a lot. UCLA has everything that they need to go win a national championship. And so I want to see what she does with this. And I have all the faith in her. I do. I think that she is absolutely a capable coach to go and do that. But man, this team, like I said, it's just so well-rounded. Maybe a little bit of question with the depth, but I mean, when your starting lineup is the way that it is, you'll be okay. Like the depth question marks, and they're not even like major question marks, you know. And in some of the conversations during the game that I was having on Twitter and whatnot, people were like, "Oh, you should foul Lauren Betts out. That's how you stop her." Because I was kind of asking, I was like, I don't know what you do against her. I don't know. And people were like, "Oh, go foul her out." She doesn't foul. She doesn't foul. Before this game, she hadn't had a game with more than one foul, I believe is what it was, throughout this entire season. Lauren Betts is so good. So good. And there's no reason that UCLA should not be in Cleveland when it's time for the Final Four. Anything below that, with the way that they're looking right now, with the health that they have right now, anything below a Final Four would be seemingly a disappointment because they are so incredibly good. Last but not least, Caitlin Clark, she's still pretty good. That's the takeaway. She's still really, really, really good. I mean, breaking records this week, past 3,000 point scoring, is in now 10th place on the all-time scoring list, passing Elena Deladon. I mean, 35-9-5 against Iowa State in a huge rivalry game. 28-9-5 against Wisconsin. Caitlin can just do anything on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, like, she's on a roster that is her team. That she is Iowa. And I honestly, at times, I feel like it doesn't even showcase all of her abilities enough because her playmaking is just as incredible as her shooting in my eyes. But man, she's incredible. And we just had the WNBA draft lottery. It looked, she was seeing like in tweets on Twitter talking about going number 1 to Indiana, and there's absolutely, it's a match made in basketball heaven with Caitlin going to Indiana and partnering up with Aaliyah Boston. But it's not just like, oh, the fit, like she's playing like the number 1 pick right now. She's absolutely not even just it doesn't even take into account marketing or anything like that and what that would do for the Fever. Just generally, she is hooping. She's hooping. And now that I think Iowa's starting to figure it out a little bit more how to balance her. Obviously, she's going to get her shots up. No doubt about it. She's getting her shots up. But now I think they're starting to balance it a little bit more where she's able to play make more and more. Like I said, two games where she was able to put up some assists. That's what you need to do, I feel like, for Iowa to be successful. Because they're an old team. Like, they have several juniors and seniors that are playing huge minutes. They have shooters surrounding her on top of Caitlin shooting. So the attention that she garners, there should be open shots, you know, and obviously Caitlin's going to get hers. But using that playmaking is huge. And I think, like I said, arguably her best offensive skill in my eyes is her playmaking. I think she's a fantastic passer that doesn't always get utilized to its maximum at Iowa. But just in general, my takeaway from this week with Caitlin Clark is that she's making history. She's been making history. She's going to keep making history. She's absolutely dominant. She is. She's dominant, and she looks every bit to be number one pick in this upcoming draft. But right now, Iowa's rolling. They're on a big win streak. They've got several good wins now. They're starting to kind of stack them up. Obviously, they had that first loss early to Kansas State. They beat Kansas State now in a tournament over Thanksgiving, so they kind of got that revenge win, kind of cleared the slate a little bit with that one. Iowa's looking solid, but Caitlin Clark is looking like every bit of the superstar that she is, leading the nation in scoring. She's incredible. I mean, if I don't know what else there is to say about Caitlin Clark at this point, but anything that you've heard, it's the truth. That's going to do it for my takeaways for this week in women's basketball. Let me know what you think and what your takeaways are, and I'll see you next week.